So, like, have you ever just played Dandy's World and, like, looked at the characters and thought to yourself, damn, kinda wanna eat the... No, just me. Anyway, Dandy's World, yeah, Dandy's World. It's a 2024 survival horror game developed by Blood Crunch Studios, which is a studio known for creating games with all sorts of, like, wacky characters that are, like, super creative, like in their game Flavor Frenzy on Roblox that blew up for its peculiar yet charming art style. You choose your little Toon and try to survive as many floors as possible while extracting machines, avoiding the evil, messed up, emo versions of the characters. Oh my god, so scary! While also going around and collecting literally any tangible item you come across like the little thief you are. The game's surprisingly very fun, and there's so much you can do in it that it can entertain anybody for hours. You can collect little trinkets, tunes, research every twisted tune, even collect skins. But enough of these boring things. I'm here to answer a very important question that everyone has been dying to know. Can I just eat these guys? First video and the cops are already going to start busting down. The ground rules. This tier list takes into account tunes that are already in the game and in the shop or in the Christmas shop by January 19, 2025. Unreleased tunes, admin tunes, concept art, leaked tunes, all that is not going to be the list, except for one, which you'll see, and you better remember, okay? Don't forget. I will also not be ranking the twisted tunes, since not only will it make this ranking exponentially larger and complicated, but they'll just probably rank as inedible. Like, listen man, if you really want to eat the I-cord, like, that's flowing through their heads and through their veins and, like, piercing through their bodies, just be my guest, honestly. Like, this will probably be you if you eat the I-cord. And now, one last thing. I will not be taking into consideration skins or the clothes the tunes are wearing. The ranking mostly consists of the object the tune is, or other objects that are surrounding it. That said, let's start off with... Yummers. This tier includes those tunes that I would literally not hesitate to eat. As a matter of fact, if I found myself in a restaurant, I would literally pay to eat some of these tunes. Maybe like a little side salad and some fries too if we can measure. Now, keep in mind that this tier is also completely suggested. While a lot of this list is, this one is mostly based on your opinion on the ordering of the tunes in this tier, or, well, if you have your own order, then just drop it in the comments. Anyways, let's start off with Dandy's World's official most edible tune. We have none other than the main strawberry man himself, Sprout. Not only does his tiny strawberry head and size make him probably the most edible, but also the most tasty. That second one is subjective, of course, like I already said, since some people are depressed and unhappy and hate strawberries, or are just allergic, I guess, but like, how can you live like that? But you have to admit, strawberries at 4 AM with like a little bit of chocolate hits the spot that nothing else can. This is why I consider Sprout to be official most edible tune. Up next, we have a close second, and Sprout's trusty assistant in the kitchen, Cosmo. Cosmo's head might make him a little harder to eat than Sprout, since it's like massive.
And you know what else is massive?
But the taste should make up for that, considering he's an all decked out dessert with things like sprinkles, sauces, and even what seems to be like a chocolate flavor of like the cake or whatever the thing he's made out of. I don't know. But just tell me he does not look delicious. I know Sprout seems to think. Next up in this tier, we have Dandy's World's biggest hater, Shrimpo. Now, Shrimpo is special because the devs literally did the job for us. Instead of giving us a live shrimp as a tune, the shrimp is literally already cooked and ready to eat. It's like the devs wanted us to eat this guy. They wanted me to make this ranking. And guess what? It worked. Like Cosmo, his head size makes him harder to eat than someone like Sprout, and his taste, while probably amazing, will probably be a little worse than Cosmo. I don't know, I guess I'm just more into sweets. Anyways, time for the last two in this tier. A very new addition to the cast, the ever so festive Ginger.
Did someone say ginger? You can't eat ginger. I mean, look how delicate she is. But that's not all. Look, she's already been bitten. You don't want to eat after someone else, do you? Do you? You're gross if you do, yeah. That's what I thought, buddy. That's what I thought.
Oh. What was that? Okay, anyways, time to move on to the next tier.
Thanks for having us over.
This tier's all about those tunes I could just eat, you know? I wouldn't enjoy it to eat them, but if you handed them to me, I could literally just eat them and it would not be that hard. These tunes are completely harmless to eat, but would also give you like no nutrients or health benefits. Starting off the list, we have one of the main starters, Poppy. Now, I know technically, in a way, Poppy's the most edible tune in Dandy's world, considering she's a bubble. You don't even have to chew to eat a bubble. But, you see, that's the thing. She's a bubble. The other tunes on the list prior to her at least gave off some nutrients for the body, and like, satisfaction for eating them, and like, they were tasty. Eating a bubble is almost like eating nothing. What are you even ingesting? 2 drops of soap? Yeah. Have fun surviving off of that for the day. I'm eating the funny hater shrimp. Next up on the list is the cutie patootie and best boy himself, Pebble. Now, Pebble's low placement is probably shocking to a lot of people since, like, he's eating a solid stone! But, bear with me, he's only here for one reason, and that's his size. Pebble is, well, he's a pebble. Not a traditional large or medium-sized rock. Even in game, he's a lot smaller than the other tunes. Pebbles are completely fine to ingest too. You know, have you ever, like, as a kid, gone to the beach, got hit by a wave so strong you had to eat a good old healthy dose of sand? Well then, you basically ate Pebble. Pebble's small enough that you probably won't choke, and it won't harm you or cause any bodily problems. Of course, you'll get no satisfaction, and you'll downright feel bad for eating such a precious boy. But, alas, pity is not accounted for in this list. Except that guy who put Ginger in her own tier. Like, I'm sort of over that. Who the hell even was that guy? Our second to last tune in this tier is the ever so dashing darling Flutter. Now, Flutter is simply just a butterfly. I don't have much to say about this placement. She's pretty small and probably has some protein in there, but eating butterfly sounds gross, so she's below Poppy and Pebble. Her large wings also make her a bit harder to eat compared to the last two. Her in-game design also seems to have quite a bit of fur too. Fur is considered inedible, but she's pretty small, and surely it will make the job a little harder, but it's still perfectly safe and perfectly doable. Yeah, what can I say, dude? She's just... yeah. But anyways, moving on to the last tune on this list, we have a very special tune. Remember when I said there'd be one exception to my no admins? Toon... oh my god, you forgot, didn't you? I told you to not forget! Ugh. Whatever. That's because I simply can't do a Dandy's World ranking without ranking the main man himself, Dandicus Dancifer. That's Dandy for those who are mentally stable. Dandy's a very complicated tune to rank on this list. After doing my research, I found out some types of flowers are very much edible and are even considered tasty, like roses or honeysuckles. But there are some with poisonous parts and effects that will literally put you 6 feet under. Why is this a problem, you may be asking? Well, Dandy's species of flowers is completely fictional. There are no rainbow flowers in the real world that I can make a comparison to either, so I seem to have hit a dead end. That's why I'll be ranking Dandy twice on the list, depending on the type of effects you have. Think of it as gambling, but instead of winning big, you get to murder someone and eat a mediocre snack. Flowers are pretty easy to eat and aren't too gross, some even having sweet nectar, so that's why his non-poisonous scenario lands here. With that out of the way, let's move on to the next tier. This tier consists of tunes who were just not made for consumption. You can eat them, sure, but this tier is where it may start being a challenge to consume of these, and where you might start seeing some health concerns. Basically, you can eat these, but you probably shouldn't. Let's start off the list with one of the latest tunes, the Grumpy Gal, Coal. Coal provides a similar case to Pebble. You obviously shouldn't eat rocks, but ingesting a small rock won't cause too much damage to your body. Now, if this is the case, why is she all the way up here and not with her canine counterpart? That's because of 2 reasons. Reason number 1, she's made out of coal. Obviously, coal is loaded with carbons and is even known for containing some gnarly toxic chemicals on rare occasions, but is overall somewhat safe to eat if it has no toxic minerals. While I have no way of deciphering if coal has these minerals or not, I'll just assume she gets very well taken care of and receives recent baths to get rid of all those toxins. Now, second reason. Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. She's just very clearly larger than
Coal.
like,
He's kinda, fat. I mean, come on,
Absolutely no shame, of course. I'd love to see a fellow big-backed individual around, but it does not help with digesting and can even lead to choking if not properly swallowed. I love you, Cole. You're just not meant for this, which I guess just benefits her in the long run, like who wants to be eaten? Next up, we have the crafty kitten Scraps. The official Danny's World Wiki says scraps is a paper craft, which means a lot of things for this tier list. Now, according to the interwebs, paper is perfectly safe to consume in small amounts, and scraps is easy to be made out of a lot of paper, especially since most of it is used for a dress, and I said I'm not taking those into account. Sure, eating the paper might provide slight indigestion, and the coloring of it might also make you sick, but you should be fine. Scraps also seems to have a plastic cover and so, which would make it harder to eat since plastic is a completely different beast, but also seems to be very tiny and fairly easy to consume. Worst case scenario, it's a choking hazard. Not much to say about this tune, so I'll be moving on to one of the most shocking placements on this list. Rudy. Now, hear me out. I know what you're saying.
Stars, are you stupid? This is the whole ass reindeer. You're gonna just eat it like that?
And to that, I say, just cook it. Yup. I never said you couldn't do that in the ground rules. Lots of people all over the world eat deer. Deer meat is perfectly suitable for consumption. You can even eat the antlers, which are made out of candy cane. With this simple solution, you'd expect Rudy to be in the yummers category or something, being able to be delicious and even giving you nutrients. But why is Rudy here? Well, that's because, like Cole, two things hold him back. Though Rudy's not the biggest deer, it'll still be a challenge and you will definitely have to stuff yourself to eat them. The second thing holding them back is, well, like I said, you have to eat all of Rudy, and this includes bones, shiny nose, ears, and other organs, and some of these might be downright harmful or could even lead to choking. Either way, it seems balanced enough to be in this category, and absolutely possible. Those are all the tunes for this category, so without further ado, let's move on to the...
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier, and I am a fish...
Folks, we're about to reach a turning point on the list. This tier contains the last of the tunes that you can technically eat with minimal health risks. Well, as long as you don't choke, of course. Basically, the last of the edible tunes. Now, would you believe me if this tier only has one tune? That's right, almost half of the list lies on the inedible side. But who is this last tune who barely escaped a ravenous feast? Well, it's none other than Shelly. Shelly was the biggest surprise for me, honestly. I'd originally put her as one of the most inedible tunes on the list, but then I did my research and found that people eat shells? Yes, apparently shells are technically considered edible, and some people eat shells for things like oysters and crabs and shrimp. This means this little ammonite shell is technically perfectly safe to eat. So why is she still so far into the list? Well, that's because the shells people eat are very tiny. They're hard to digest, possible because of their size. Shelly's ammonite shell is pretty big, there's no denying it. This makes it a pain to chew and digest. But again, it is technically possible, and the long-term effects are minimal. That being said, those are officially all of the edible tunes. Now, let's get deadly.
Very cheap, £1 fish.
I interrupt the jumping points with some important news. I've decided to make one more tier for the edible tunes. One that includes two very peculiar tunes that can be eaten in a different way than usual. These tunes are Tegan and Finn. Now, you could try to eat these, but have fun having bloody gums. Your containers are made out of sharp glass and ceramic, which will literally mess you up. This is why I propose a different solution. That hit the spot. Can't have a full meal without a nice drink, you know? That's the end of this intermission. Now, let's make that jumping point. Welcome to the Inedible Zone. We'll be going from the least deadly to the most deadly. Get ready, because you're gonna need some medkits after eating these. Let's start off with the least deadly inedible tune. Goob. Goob is, he's a craft thing. Look, I have no fucking clue what exactly Goob is. We can just say he's a craft. He seems to have a lot of fur and some sharp claws too. Claws are small, so they're pretty edible, I guess, but large amounts of fur you have to consume is the issue here. Every source online said fur is not edible. It leads to hairballs and vomiting, as well as digestive issues and stomach aches. Look, it's like it can also carry diseases and parasites, so you gotta hope Goob washes constantly. But with this being said, fur is really the only problem that makes Goob so deadly. Everything else is fine enough to eat, hence why he's here. Next up, it's none other than our gorgeous cleaner Tisha. Now, you may be saying, oh, but did you say paper was completely edible in the scrap section? Well, shut up. I did say that, but you forgot the crucial detail I made sure to point out. It's edible in small amounts. If you want to eat Tisha, you have to eat all those papers inside of her. All those tissues, as well as the cardboard box, which is just more paper. You know how much paper that is? That much paper would literally leave someone hospitalized. But talking about materials that would leave you hospitalized, let's talk about rubber. Or most importantly, our bouncy balloon boy. No, not that balloon boy. Louie. Sources say eating balloons or rubber in general can cause blockages that can be super dangerous. It can block oxygen flow, not allow any swallowing, so you can't eat anything, and you could starve and literally not allow digestion. Not only that, it's also super hard to get out of the body. While eating rubber and balloons is super dangerous, it's not a guaranteed kill like some of the tunes up ahead. This also goes for the last two, or, well, I guess technically 3 tunes of this list. Well, I guess we can start off with 2 of them. Razzle and Dazzle are a weird couple of tunes. We don't really know what their masks are made of. I couldn't find anything with the wiki, so I'll just assume they're plastic, since, I don't know, it looks like plastic to me. While plastic is technically edible in small amounts, these masks are pretty big. Not only that, there's 2 of them. This amount of plastic consumption might even need mandatory surgery to save someone, or to remove the plastic. But again, it's not an instant death, there's still a chance of survival. The last one on this tier is... What the fucking moon? Astro is, the moon. Look, I don't think anybody's eaten the moon before, okay? Unless you're like Galactus or something, and I know it's technically just rock, like pebble and coal, but Astro's much larger. Not only this, they're extremely hard to chew, and even contain fragments of glass and basalt that will literally mess you up. Now imagine eating that but like 10 times. Astro lies here in the tier list because eating that goddamn moon is not an easy task, and the chances of survival are very, very minimal. Now, get ready for the last tier. The one, the only.
You ate my whole family, you fat bastard. One more day.
You know, I'm just gonna jump straight into this tier. No more stalling. Toodles is an 8-ball. 8-balls not only contain horrible dyes and high amounts of alcohol, but they're also made of not-so-friendly polyester material that will send you not only to a doctor, but also to a dentist. Hope you got good healthcare. Well, Toodles is pretty small, you know, considering she's, well, a child. Her head size does not help replacement on chances of survival after eating her are almost not there. But next up, I'm gonna list 3 tunes that are here for some obvious reasons. Roger, Glisten, and Popeyes. Now, welcome everybody to the Stars Game Show. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to decipher what these 3 tunes have in common that puts them this high on the list. I wonder what it could be. If you picked they're made of glass, congrats, you have eyes! I don't think I need to explain how dangerous eating glass is. Like, I didn't even do my research for these tunes because, like, you know, common sense exists. Now, the next tune in this list is none other than the main man himself, Danicus Dancer. Wait. I did remember when I said he got 2 spots on the list based on whether he was poisonous or not, right? Oh my god, this is why I can't trust you. But yeah, this one is also pretty obvious. You know, poison kinda like kills you. Yeah, not much more to say. Next up, we have second startled starter, Boxton. Now, Boxton is a music box. This means not only does he have sharp mechanisms inside of him that produce music, most likely being made out of metal too, which is like uber inedible, and the crack in his back that is certainly made out of metal, but he also has a huge box set of unknown material. I don't think you'd still be alive halfway through eating this guy. But now, we have 2 more tunes left in this entire tier list. So, let's go ahead and talk about Dandy's World's most deadly to consume inedible tunes. The runner-up to the most deadly to eat goes to Brittany. Now, Brittany, or Brightney, I have no idea how to say that, is a 3-in-1 death package. Not only does Brittany as a lamp have metal inside her little lamp hair that holds it together, but she also has a lovely little glass light bulb that goes really well with the blood your gums will shoot out when you bite it. And if you thought I was done, well, guess what? She's electric! She has wires of electricity that makes her light up in-game. You could literally die getting shocked to death before even eating the glass or the metal. There is no chance of survival. So, why is she number 2? That's because there's one more tune that has all of this. It multiplies by like a billion. It's none other than the fan favorite spotlight showstopper, V. I'm fully convinced that even the strongest person on Earth, or even a group of people, would still die trying to eat V. She's that deadly. Let's list the myriad of reasons she's gonna fucking kill you if you eat her. Number 1, glass face. I don't know if you knew this, that's pretty sharp and dangerous. Who could have guessed? Number 2, electricity and zappy wire stuff. Woo-hoo! I love getting electrocuted. Now, number 3, everything else is just made out of metal. I don't know if you knew this, metal is not edible at all. Number 4, big ass head. The insides are full of stuff you gotta eat, and you gotta eat the whole outside stuff too. Just when you think you're done, boom, number 5, you gotta eat a microphone too. That is, if somehow you're like an anime protagonist and survive eating the TV. V is undeniably the perfect candidate for the most deadly and worst to eat tune in all of Bambi's world. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Undeniable proof on which tunes in Danny's world are the most edible and which will explode you on impact if you eat them. I had a lot of fun making this video, and hopefully you had as much fun watching my maniacal mental breakdown. So, now finally, here's the list. Sprout, Cosmo, Shrimpo, Ginger, Poppy, Pebble, Flutter, Dandy, Cole, Scraps, Rudy, Shelly, Goo, Tisha, Louie, Razzle and Dazzle, Astro, Toodles, Glisten, Roger, Bobette, Dandy again, Boxton, Brittany, and finally, V. Thank you everyone for watching, and have a fantastic... Wait a second, it doesn't add up. This said 28 tunes, but there's only 24. I guess I didn't really count T and Finn, but did I forget someone else? Oh my. Oh my. Fellow viewer, I have made a terrible mistake. V is not the most inedible tune in Dandy's world. In fact, she doesn't even get close. There's 2 tunes, 2 very special tunes in this game, who possess abilities so cataclysmic that offer the worst kind of inedibility. The ability of not being able to eat them at all. These 2 tunes are everything and nothing all at once. They're none other than Gigi and Connie. Let's start off with Gigi. Why is she here, you may be asking? Why is this tiny little gachapon ball made of mere plastics more inedible than a freaking TV? Well, plastic is pretty much safe to eat in small amounts, considering it's non-toxic. And Gigi isn't seen to be made of too much plastic, right? She's just a small little gachapon that also happens to be hollow on the inside. Right? So that means Gigi's technically safe to eat. Right? Oh, you're so wrong. And it's all because of one reason. Gigi has an ability where she can spawn an item inside of her gachapon, out of thin air. This means, if you want to eat Gigi, you have to eat what's inside of her. Which is literally everything. She can spawn infinite items inside of her. Gigi is a force of infinite matter, and you cannot eat her. It is physically impossible to eat something that doesn't end. And while she could spawn some items like candy, gumballs, chocolate, which are tasty and perfectly edible, she can also spawn things like medkits and bandages. So good luck chowing down on over 1 million of those while trying to eat something that's literally infinite. But what's the opposite of infinity? Some would argue it's just negative infinity or ravage. But the opposite of infinity could also just be nothing. Such is the case of Connie. Connie is literally untouchable. She's a ghost. No matter what you do, what you try, you will never get to even take a bite out of her. She's already dead. She's a spirit. Try all you want, but you can't eat what's not there. She's a mere visual figure. She's literally nothing. You can't add 0 to a number and make it greater or less. She's the absolute void that you will never, ever get to even touch. These tunes are an Ouroboros of infinite trying, cycling, attempting to eat but never getting there. You never reach the end, and that's because there is no end. The inevitability of all these tunes lasts forever, because they're everything and nothing at the same time.
Okay, Joe, right foot green.
Well, that took an unexpected turn, but, well, that's officially every Danny's World tune ranked on how edible they are. Like I said, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give me a subscribe so I can keep making more videos. That'd be very thankful. And I really hope you enjoyed it. Check out some of my other content if you did. And I'll catch you on the flips. Hello? Who's there?
This is the Space Police! You are under space arrest!
Oh crud,